marketing and what I had to go through to build a business. In fact, there is nobody in this room, including Barbara, that has ever heard my story. And so I am very excited to share this with you. My hope is to do a few things. I want to inspire you, I want to encourage you, and I want to do what the message title is, which is make sure that you never give up. Because how many of you in here, let's be honest, we're adults, how many of you in here have come to a point where you've questioned whether you even want to keep going in a business like this? Okay, listen, if you haven't, you're lying if you're not raising your hand. Because I quit every single day. Mentally, in my mind, I quit every day. But here's the great thing, I never physically gave in to what I was thinking. Because network marketing is challenging. You're going to have some challenges along the way. So I'm going to walk you through my journey in the time that I have. My journey started obviously 19 years ago. I was a real estate broker, and I was working out here in Palm Desert at an investment firm. I did hard money loans. That was my specialty. And I realized something I did not know, is as a real estate broker, I was getting broker and broker by the day. And I was like, this is not what I bought into. I don't know what is going on here. So I get a call one day at my office from this guy, giving me one of these prospecting routines. Oh, hi, can I speak to Jerry Roisentul, please? So, yeah, that's him. This is me. Yeah, hi, Jerry. My name is Sean Brown. You don't know me, but I got your name from a friend of mine at the gym. I'm thinking, at the gym? Dude, I haven't been at the gym for like 3 years. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, he's doing the prospecting thing. Okay. So he says, I just want to know if you keep your options open. I said, yeah, sure. What do? I do finance. I said, great, come on down. So he comes down to my office, and so I'm sitting in the front desk, and in walks this sharp-dressed African-American guy who's just dressed in a suit. And I looked at him, and I started getting intimidated. I thought, wow, this guy must be rolling in the dough. So I said, how you doing? He says, I'm Sean, I'm Jerry. He says, I said, come on into my little conference room. So we go and we sit down, and my goodness gracious, Lord have mercy. This guy sits down, and he takes out his presentation. And he says, yeah, I want to show you what we do. So, as you can see here, this guy is shaking like I've never seen him. He's doing one of these things, and I'm looking at him going, oh my word. And then he does you know that lip smack? You know, where you cannot open your mouth? And I looked at him, I said, dude, would you like a glass of water? He says, yeah. He says, can you please? So I go get him water. The guy guzzles it like he's been walking in the desert for 40 years. And I mean, this guy was, he was horrible. I was explaining to him how his presentation worked. And so at the end of the presentation, he says, well, what did you think? Okay, well, number one, let me teach you something. Don't ever ask somebody what they think. That's the wrong question to ask somebody. But he asked me, and I said to him, well, you know what, that's a great presentation. What's the next step? And I had to do one of these things. Sean. I think I was the first person that ever said to him, I was interested. So he said, we got to go to a meeting in Rancho Cucamonga. I said, okay, Greg, we'll do that. And so he walks out of there, and I said, man, this guy stinks. I said, if this guy's making money, I'm going to be a millionaire. And so that is why I'm going to teach you 7 principles of success in this business as I go through my story. So this is principle number 1 I want you to understand. Okay? You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Yep. We get so caught up in what we're going to say. And I've got to memorize this, and I've got to say everything perfectly. Listen, I was the right person, and he said all the wrong things to me, but because I was the right person, I caught what was going on. So when you're out there talking to people, building your business, understand, don't get so caught up in the words, because 93% of effective communication is nonverbal. 38% of communication is tonality, 55% is your physiology, and only 7% of effective communication is words. So what do we focus on more? The words. And that's the least of effective communication. So as bad as he was, I was the right guy. So I went to the meeting in Ontario. This was way back in 1992. I got excited by what I saw, didn't understand a bloody thing. Mutual funds, life insurance, I didn't know anything about that. But I decided it made sense. I could make a lot of money. I got involved. And in March, I got licensed to do the business. And of course, here's what happens. How many of you realize just how much your family and friends really love you? When you get into network marketing and they start telling you things like, you're going to talk about finances, you can't even rub two pennies together, who are you going to talk to? Who's going to listen to you? Thanks for the encouragement, really. So I said, obviously I can't count on my family and friends, so Sean and I decided to do, we had a brainstorm. We said, we're going to go do a financial education seminar. So we decided we're going to print out these flyers, and what we're going to do is we're going to go walk the streets of Cathedral City between 10 o'clock at night and 1 o'clock in the morning, passing out flyers on the doors of people's homes, so when they woke up in the morning, they'd have a flyer going, oh, a financial workshop, buddy, let's go to this. So we go at 10 o'clock at night in Cathedral City, walking up and down the street. Sean's on one side, I'm on the other. And we're just walking, putting things there, we're waving to, hey, how you doing? All right, okay, good. And we're walking around, I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing? So as we're walking down the street, I'm walking, and I notice on the side, I'm like, whoa, there is this huge Rottweiler sitting in a driveway. Now, I couldn't tell if it was on a leash, and I didn't want to scream to Sean because I thought if I screamed, it's going to scare the dogs and run after him. So Sean walks up, and he stops. And the dog is just looking at him, salivating. And I said, oh, I hope that dog don't like dark meat. And he didn't, because the dog looked at me and started chasing after me down the street. And here I am, looking at this big old Rottweiler is coming at me at 11:30 at night. I'm running down the street. I mean, you've never seen a white guy run as fast as I did. Flying down the street, this guy had a wall, a brick wall. I had to jump up on this brick wall. And Sean's on the floor laughing and rolling around, and I'm thinking, what am I doing out here at 11 o'clock at night? So we didn't think anything of it. Well, here's what happened. We started getting calls. Hey, we're interested in coming. We found this flyer. We're interested in coming to your financial workshop. We're like, whoa. So at the end of the day, 54 people called and said, we're coming to your workshop. Wow! So we're already counting the money. Woo! We're going to be millionaires by this. Awesome. So I call my upline, George. George makes $500,000 a year. He lives in Rancho. He says, "Don't worry." So I'll tell you what, I'll come down and help you guys. We're like, "Oh, we got the big gun coming down. This is awesome! Our first seminar." So we get to the room that night, and it's a room similar to this, and we set up all the chairs. The meeting starts at 7 o'clock, and we're waiting. George comes down dressed in his nice suit. We're like, "Oh, George, that's awesome!" I said, "Look, we got 54 people." Let me ask you a question. How many of you had parties where people confirmed? Okay? 54 people. They're going to show up. 6:30. Oh, they're coming. I know. They'll be here. 7 o'clock comes around. We have 6 people show up. Me, Sean, George, my parents, and his wife. That's who we have. Nobody showed up. 54 people, and Sean and I are upset. This stinks. I can't believe this. And you know what George told us to do? George says, "Well, you know what? Go do your presentation anyway." I says, "For who? For you? You already know it." He says, "Yeah, but you know what? It's a great chance for you to practice." And so we got up there, begrudgingly did our presentation, and then afterwards sobbed our eyes out because we started doing the same thing most people do. I stink. Is this really for me? Should I really do this? I don't know. Well, let me give you principle number 2 to success in network marketing. If I can get my phone to work. Principle number 2 is this. Don't let the setbacks defeat you. Let your comeback redeem you. Don't let the setbacks defeat you. Let your comeback redeem you. Because let me tell you something. You're going to have parties where people are going to say they're going to be there and they're not. This is part of the journey. But you have to be willing to get up, brush yourself off, and keep moving forward. Because as you move forward, you get better and better every single time. So when I started out the business, I was living in a 300 square foot guest house in my best friend's property in the Palm Desert Country Club out here. 300 square feet. You know how big that is?
Small.
Not big. Okay, now I had this queen-size sofa sleeper that when I opened up my sofa sleeper, there was no floor left. So I would have to go from my door, jump onto my bed to actually get to my little bathroom. So I had a bathroom, I had a mini fridge, and 2 hot plates. And I don't know if you've ever tried to make pasta meals on 2 hot plates. It's like 10 hours, okay? And I started in this place. And so one day, my mom and dad decided to come down and see me. They haven't seen me for a while. They know I'm doing this pyramid thing. And they weren't one of my clients. They didn't want to, talk to me. They couldn't figure out how I could be teaching finances when I just bounced 2 checks at the bank. They thought it was insane. And so they come down, and at the time, because I was so broke, I didn't have a lot of food, I was 135 pounds, which obviously doesn't look very good. So I remember my mom knocking on the door, and she opens up the door. She hadn't seen me in probably 6 months. And she opens up the door, and she just stands there. And just does the mom look up and down. And she starts to cry, and she walks away. Well, that's encouraging, huh? So then my dad comes in. And my dad is a very colorful man, and unfortunately, I cannot really say the things that came out of his mouth. And if all of you know my dad, he's from Argentina, he speaks with an accent, and it's hysterical when he says cuss words with an accent because they're actually funny. But I won't say that here. But what my dad did is he started cussing me up and down. You went to school to get a broker. You're a real estate broker. What are you doing this stuff? You're never going to make it, that. And he just went into me. Look at what you did to your mother. Look at you. Look at this. And then he stopped and he turned around and he started to walk out the door. And he turned around and he said the most damaging words that I've ever heard my father say to me. He says, I never thought, son, I would ever say this to you. But at this moment, I'm embarrassed to call you my son. Oh. And my dad walked out. I thought, and I stood there going, okay, they'll be back. And I'm looking at my watch, and I hear the... I thought, okay, they probably drove around the block. No, they drove home. And I remember sitting on my floor of my little 300-square-foot apartment, a little guest house. I was probably in the business 4 or 5 months, whipping out a can of tuna, because that's all I could afford to eat at the time, sobbing my eyes out that my dad was embarrassed to call me his son. Now, in that moment, I had a decision I had to make. And the decision was, do I do what I should do to please my family? Or do I do what my heart's telling me to do so I can chase my dreams? And I really believed that that was a defining moment in my business. And after praying, I decided that although my parents are going to be upset with me, I'm going to go pursue my dream because I felt in my heart it was what I needed to do. Now, my father did not talk to me for 2 months. When I went up to see my parents, he just didn't want to tell you he was embarrassed. He talked to me. But nonetheless, you have people in your life that are just like my dad, and they're trying to rob you of what was given to you. And principle number 3 that I want to share with you to tie into that story is your dreams have to be bigger than the people who are going to try to steal them. See, my dream was bigger than what my dad was trying to do. I know he didn't do it purposely. I know he didn't mean it, but at the same time, it didn't take away the pain of hearing your own father say something. And my father and I are very, very, very close. And to hear my dad say that to me was like taking a bunch of knives and stabbing me in the heart. But I had to make a decision that my dreams were bigger than the people stealing my... How many people do you have in your lives that make fun of you, that laugh at you, say you're doing that thing, that pyramid thing, you're doing this, you're doing that, and they're trying to dissuade you from doing the business? Let me just give you advice. Don't listen to people who are more screwed up financially than you are. I love how people will get into a business and talk to their bankrupt uncle about what they think of the business. Why don't you go talk to somebody like a Michael Anderson who had the courage as a man to be in a business like this and become an MVP? Go talk to him. Don't go talk to some broke person that doesn't know what they're talking about and get advice from them, because all they're going to tell you is, I don't want you to leave me, so I'm going to tell you everything I need to tell you, so you just stay with me. Listen to people who have been successful ahead of time. And by the way, Michael, I have a lot of respect for you. I just want you to know that. You're awesome. Absolutely awesome. So then my RVP decides to tell me one day at the office, he says, listen, do you really want to win? No, I'm just here for fun. I'm getting abused for nothing. Yes, I want to win. He says, and this is what you need to do. You're going to need to drive up here every Tuesday night for our op meeting and every Saturday morning for our training. I said, wait, you don't understand. I live 110 miles away. He says, I understand that. I said, I work